Well everyone, welcome back. Today I've got a couple of updates in regards to the Division universe, including of course the Division 2 and the Division Heartland. It's been a while since I've done one of these kind of roundup videos for the whole Division universe, and there is some news here worthy of a video. So let's jump into this one. Drop a like down below, subscribe to keep up to date with all my content, and let's begin. Alright, so let's start with the Division 2. Last week the game crumbled following the end of Season 10. I made a video on this highlighting some of the major issues facing the game. Unable to change directives or world difficulty, the game crashing if you went remotely close to Countdown, and actually upon a further check, you weren't even able to access Countdown through the helicopter either. Entire stash space missing for some people, which is crazy, and there was a lot more of course. Now at the time of that video, we were 96 hours in and had been given a pretty harrowing update that suggested the cause of these issues went really quite deep. Season 11 could not be deployed until this had been fixed, so this was pretty huge, and I can't remember a time the game had suffered quite like this. Thankfully, and I can report, and I'm sure you've logged it into the game since Friday and would have seen this, but Massive did tweet on Friday confirming they had been able to extend Season 10 for now, and also provided this message. We have good news. We have successfully created and deployed a server-side update. This is now live and extends Season 10 content. We deeply appreciate your support and patience. More news about Season 11 and the in-game compensation will be shared at a later date. So there was a maintenance done on Friday of last week with a number of fixes made to the game, which I believe have fixed the majority of issues plaguing the game, with further fixes coming as part of Title Update 17 and Season 11, of which we don't know is when it's coming at this moment in time. It's worth noting that travelling from New York back to Washington D.C. can still cause the game to crash, and there are some recommended workarounds, which are you can start a countdown game, you can disable global directives, you can join another agent or a group of agents in Washington D.C., or you can speak to the pilot at the Haven safe house and you can travel to DC that way. So there we go, really. One of the worst weeks since the Division launched. And if you follow any of the devs like I do, Pally Huffstein or Morten Ryberg, and there's plenty of others, you can see from their tweets how relieved they are to have fixed this now. Last week there was just a number of clearly stressful tweets, which I imagine was exactly how they're feeling, and that seems to have been relieved now, which is really great. As I said, when will Season 11 go live? We don't yet know. I'm praying, fingers crossed, it's next Tuesday. As I've been making this video and this video going live, it is Monday, so it could actually come out tomorrow, the 14th of February. We don't know. But I'm praying at the very latest it is next Tuesday. Only because the week after that is the launch of Lightfall DLC for Destiny 2, and I'm pretty sure that will eat into some of the game's audience, because there is obviously a crossover of audience there, and yeah, obviously I want the Division 2 to be successful, so I'd rather them release when nothing else is around so everyone can jump in and enjoy the update. Alright, moving on to the Division Heartland. It's been a while since we've heard anything about the game, any updates, progress, whatever. But again, on Friday of last week, there was an article that came out from Game Rant titled "The Division Heartland being delayed again could make it another Roller Champions." Obviously not good news. So let's go over this article, let's take a look and see what's going on. Alright, so here we go. Here's the article, as I said, from Game Rant here. Division Heartland was set to be the next big step in the Division franchise, but after another delay, it could go the way of Roller Champions. It's no secret that Ubisoft is having a bit of a rough run at the moment. Ubisoft is struggling to nail down exactly what franchises are going to be its future, and yet another delay. It doesn't look like Skull and Bones is going to be included in that. It says a slew of other Ubisoft titles have been either delayed or outright cancelled, and things aren't looking great for one of the industry's biggest publishers. And what might tip the company over the edge is its recent The Division Heartland delay. A free-to-play spin-off, Division Heartland takes the third-person looting gameplay of its big brothers and condenses it down into a 45-player PvPvE game mode. Initially launched or announced back in 2021. Since then, Division Heartland has received several delays, with the most recent occurring just a few weeks ago. At this time, it could be disastrous, with the Division Heartland seemingly following in the footstep of Ubisoft failed Roller Champions. So this is not good news for the Division Heartland. If what this article is saying, in respect of Roller Champions, which I believe was cancelled in the end, or at least it was just development was just ceased on that one. Announced all the way back in 2019. It goes on to talk about Roller Champions. We're not really that bothered about that and what happened here. So by the time Roller Champions did release, the original audience had lost interest long ago, and as a result, Roller Champions was met with no fanfare. This is my biggest concern, I guess, for the Division Heartland. I mean, fortunately, the Division 2 is still bringing out content, so actually there is still going to be an audience for the Division Heartland. But it's like anything with Ubisoft. They seem to see a trend that's already a year or two old, jump on that trend, develop a game for 3 to 4 years, and then by that time that game comes out, the trend is over, and you're not getting the audience. And that's my fear for the Division Heartland. There's no doubt that anyone who plays the Division and enjoys the Division will probably give it a go, especially PvP players. But will it be able to garner an audience at this moment in time? I'm not quite sure. So we'll have to wait and see. It says here, despite being a genuinely pretty solid game, Roller Champions has struggled to capture a player base in its first few weeks. And this is the problem you're going to have with the Heartland, is you can keep delaying it and make it as good as you want, but if people are not invested in the trend that Ubisoft have clearly tried to get on here with the whole, it's almost like a survival game / battle royale game kind of. I wouldn't really call it a battle royale, it's more of a survival game, but it's kind of similar. Then it doesn't matter how good the game is, there might not be an audience there at all. It says Ubisoft cannot afford for the Division Heartland to follow the same trend, but no matter how hard it tries, these delays are not helping the game. When a Division Heartland was first announced, fans rejoiced, with a PvE free-to-play spin-off sounding like a perfect next step for the looter-shooter franchise. However, with every new delay, fans become more and more disinterested. The Division is one of the few Ubisoft franchises that hasn't been run into the ground yet, and the publisher needs this spin-off to perform well. Hopefully Ubisoft can bring players back on board with some new trailers soon. So when they do bring out trailers for this game, I do see a lot of excitement around it, but I don't know if that extends any further than just the people who are currently playing the Division, which isn't a huge audience. I think we all know that. My biggest concern is that it captures 50% of the current audience that play the Division 2, but it doesn't capture any more than that, any more players outside of that. And if that's the case, then the game is unfortunately not going to do well, because as a free-to-play game, they're going to be banking on people spending money in the store. And I don't even think that players who play the Division currently are the sort of players to really spend a lot of money in store. So I'm not hopeful. I'll be honest with you guys. I do think it's going to come out. There was an article today from Tom Henderson on Insider Gaming, who talked about the fact that the Division Heartland is still in development by Red Storm Entertainment. There was no news from him today about this delay at all. So it sounds to me as though it's still very much in the works, still going through. It's not fake, as I've seen some people say. However, it could be a case of it's too late. And unfortunately, Ubisoft has a habit of that, and I'm concerned that Heartland is going to go the same way. To finish up then, in terms of the Division movie and the Division mobile game Resurgence, there is basically no news here. Last we heard about the Division movie is this was on the back burner for the time being, so no kind of idea when or if this might ever be released, so we'll have to wait on more news for that. The latest that I've found on the Division Resurgence is a couple of tweets confirming the team are working on getting out an update as soon as possible, and the plans to release the mobile game are still on schedule for release this year. So that's good news. I really enjoyed the PTS for Resurgence, and I actually think this game could be a huge hit. So I've got much more hope in this game, this mobile game, than I have in the free-to-play game Heartland. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some more news about Resurgence, hopefully another PTS that I can jump into. It's the first mobile game I've played that I really enjoyed, and a game that I wish was coming out on console, if I'm being honest with you. But there we go. That's it for today though, guys. Thanks very much for joining me for this one. Would really appreciate a like on the video if you did enjoy it. And if you're subscribed, please turn on notifications, and that way you can stay up to date with all of my videos. Until the next one, Epic out.